This is a demo of an indie visual novel and standalone sequel about vampires, romance, and a young woman living in the Victorian era. Let's go. I've always wondered how slow time feels for adult vampires. For the fleeting time I was a vampire as a child, it was like a never-ending summer afternoon. Some days, I could play the day away with no heed for the time. I could explore every room in the manor thrice over, running from every corner to the next. Other days, the hours slink by, every second dripping by slower than the last. Even the shades couldn't shield the manor from the oppressively sticky heat of summer. Every step felt slower than the last. But for adults, is it that same feeling of being stuck indoors during the longest summer day of the year? Or is it more akin to sitting in a backed-up doctor's office, or watching the fire crackle during the first snow of the year, or waiting on a train that's forever delayed? Oh man, I know that feeling. Happened recently. It's annoyingly introspective thoughts like this that creep their way in as I have nothing to do but watch the grandfather clock tick closer and closer to the half-hour mark. A whole half hour I've sat here, waiting for nobody apparently. All of the cordial letters and handcrafted gem samples I'd been sent were a sham, or a prank. Once we agreed to meet up in person to finalize the business proposal, he hightailed it elsewhere. I clenched the body of my dress. The clock chimes in mockery of me. Not even a servant has so much as entered the room or hallway to inform me of his tardiness. As the grandfather clock's chime echoes in the room, I glance outside. The day is almost over, but there's still some daylight left. Time better spent outside than here. I ease my shoulders, promptly standing, and I leave. Look at her! She's cute! The nerve of him! To gush about how interested he was in the business proposition. To boast about how perfectly handcrafted his gems were, only to stand me up. If another letter from him arrives, I'm tossing it in the fireplace. I trudge down an alleyway, not wanting to hit the crowds walking down the main street in the broad daylight. At this time of day, the sun feels its brightest, and most headache-inducing. The back alleys, however, are always a pleasant source of shade in an area of town devoid of trees. The shade is perfect on a hotter day like today, but they're also perfect for hiding people. Oh no, is someone following us? Jeez. A darkened figure tags along a block's length away from me. I skip to another alley. He follows. I press against a wall as I pass by a few workers in another alley, turning at an intersection while I'm obscured behind them. He still follows. Jeez. I'll have to do something more drastic. Girl can't catch a break. I double back to the first alley, making a long circle, well, square, to get there without running into him. The stairwell of the building juts out just enough to hide myself with, so I lay in wait there for my pursuer. No one appears from around the corner. Maybe he gave up already. I lean forward to look down the alleyway. but something tugs on my hair ribbon. Hey! What do you think you're doing? Giving chase? Looks more like you're running around and up to no good. You're no fun. What are you doing out so early? I went in to check on things and nobody was around. Do we know him? I skipped past him. Hey! So his name is Nemo? My mind just immediately goes to the movie. The fish. Fish now walk on land. Come on, I want dinner. He didn't show up, did he? I got stood up. No comments. He must have thought he was too good for my offer. He'll see he can't get far without help. I grit my teeth. I can feel Nemo looking at me with pity. Alright, let's go home. I turned back to grab his arm, but instead, I met with a hand pushing down my head. Hey! I'm sorry he was a no-show. You'll find a better fit soon. Just don't try to rush these things. It's not like I'm gonna kick you out. That's not my house? Oh. You don't even own the place, you moocher. I'm not a moocher. What's his is mine. That's how marriage goes. He's married? Oh. Married into money. For someone who avoided commitment like the boogeyman, he sure is bragging about it a lot now. Now come on, let's go home. He lends me an arm, leading us out of the alley. The floorboards creak underneath our feet as we step down the hallway to our flat. Darkened wood lines every wall, making the space feel shades darker than it actually is. Most of the other residents should be home by now, winding down for the day. But more so than the sounds of our footsteps, the melody of a violin permeates through the hall. Ooh, pretty. I used to play the violin. It's soft and cautious, each note more careful than the last. You can practically imagine someone reading from the sheet music while playing the notes. There's something a bit relaxing about it. Not overwhelmingly loud, but rather something that's rested into the background. The pieces echo through the walls, making it hard to tell where it's coming from. As we near our own flat, though, the notes stop. I sigh to myself that we won't be able to hear it at dinner. I'm sorry to hear about that. I've heard so many good things about him. He's the jeweler who made my brooch and carvettes, after all. So he's like a reputable source, but he didn't appear. Did someone, like, kill him or something? Is he dead? Is that why he didn't show up? No. That's not good. Maybe someone's spreading misinformation about us. And that caused the buyer to pull out. I don't know, something's going on. Maybe something urgent came up. I'm sure you'll hear from him in the next day or two. How dare he? Sending all those buttery letters only to stand you up? You act like it was a marriage proposal. Maybe not, but equally as important, if not more so. It's a serious crime. That's what it is. It's not that either. It's a nuisance. I stabbed the pork chop on my plate. They're all suddenly more interested in eating their own meals. The food is rather good, thanks partially to the cooking classes Ambrose is taking. But it just doesn't sit well with me. Not tonight. I eat quickly, leaving a little under half of it still on my plate, before heading to my room. Moonlight slinks through the blinds and across the floorboards. It bounces off my mirror and right into my eyes. Ouch. I must have fallen asleep right after dinner. I don't usually take naps so late in the day. I push myself up on the bed, rubbing my eyes. It may be nighttime now, but I don't think I was asleep for very long. I can hear noises from the other room, so Nemo and Ambrose are still awake. Something on my nightstand glints out of the corner of my eye. It's my bottle of pills. Ibuprofen? A modern marvel of medicine to some, and an expensive hoax to others. Emeralds refined to the size of a pill have been found to be a cure for vampirism, effectively negating a vampire's heightened abilities and dependence on blood. Yeah, that does kind of sound like a hoax, honestly. Also a waste of, well, I don't know. I was gonna say waste of money, but I guess it depends on who you are and how much these emeralds cost. Look, I've never eaten rocks, so how well would these digest? What, we're just eating gemstones? I'm appalled. At just the right size, they can be digested and dissolved into a person's body. I should just... Any larger, and they can be poisonous to vampires, who are weak to precious gems. Alright, so... no more crosses, no more garlic. You need precious gemstones if you're gonna fight a vampire. Gotcha. Taking pills regularly can turn any person, no matter how long they've been a vampire, back into a human. But only if they keep up the intake on a regular basis. While they're not a perfect cure, and are rather expensive to acquire at a small scale, they are an effective one. I hadn't had to drink blood in years. But I also haven't had the use of my heightened physical abilities in years. Look, I don't care what you do as an adult. If you want to be a vampire, then fine. But I want you to wait until you're old enough to make the decision before all your friends start aging faster than you. You're not my mom. You can't tell me what to do. I'm turning 18 this month. I'm old enough to make my own decisions. I don't need my brother to keep looking out for me. So does that mean that he's a vampire too? Nemo? Right? I know there's a prequel to this, and this can be a standalone sequel, as I mentioned at the beginning. So maybe if I played that, I would get answers to that, but I don't know in this world if, like, maybe our character just turned into a vampire, or if it's, heretical. As much as it hurts me to, eat something this valuable, probably the best idea. Because I don't want to, like, not take the pill and end up going on a murder spree or something like that. So just in case, just be safe, you know? I screw off the top and drop a tiny emerald pill in my palm. It's small enough to go inside a ring. Instead, I pop it into my mouth. I may have been a vampire for a brief time, but I'm fine staying human for a while longer. I'm not ready to age slower than everyone else just yet. I take one last glance at the bottle as I stand. There are many people still skeptical about the treatment, but Mr. Douglas was fascinated by it. My cat is begging for attention. Precious gems have long been a dangerous poison for vampires despite their staying power in ornate jewelry. The thought of using them for medicinal purposes, rather than for looks or for harm, intrigued him. Or so I thought. Him standing me up today was the final nail in the coffin. Vampire joke. I shouldn't spend the rest of the early evening hours sleeping, or else I'll mess up my sleep schedule. I don't know about you, but my sleep schedule is an absolute mess. Nemo and Ambrose are in the parlor, as I figured. Nemo has hogged all the candles in minimal lights and looks deep in concentration on fixing the radio. Despite the low lighting he's left with, Ambrose is reading the newspaper. With his vampiric sight, he doesn't have to strain to read it. Still, I don't want to be their third wheel for the rest of the night. I step out and onto the balcony. Oh. I didn't see you out here. No, it's alright. Cecil scrambles to his feet, eager to get up off the concrete floor. So, how are you doing? How do you think I'm doing? I can't believe that man, standing you up like that. We ought to tarnish his name. What's the social media account? Wait, they don't have that here. This is the Victorian era. Right, gotcha. Never mind. He'll tarnish it himself in due time, acting like that. And besides, I'm not sure how you of all people would even go about doing that. I'll find someone else to work with on it. Maybe reach out to the doctors again and gain more public approval before reaching out to manufacturers. I'm sure you can do it, Lucy. And besides, you can always make Nemo chase after new leads. I think he'd chase them off more than help. He has enough work to do around campus, but he's insistent on going with me to every business meeting, party, and more. I can't tell if he fancies himself my bodyguard or my chaperone. It's not even his family business. Though, speaking of which, you'll be dealing with all this soon enough. Do you think your family never has to renegotiate anything? That their mining privileges are set in stone? That their workers never ask for pay increases or more benefits? That their merchant deals are lifelong? Soon you'll be going, "Oh, Lucy, how did you handle all this? You're so brave to start so young." I already say that. He huffs, turning back to the night. For the past few years, he's had little contact with his parents, no more than greeting cards and letters he's forced to write to them just to show he's alive. Instead of living in the manor several hours away by train, he's lived here to attend school at the kindness of Ambrose. Oh, that's why he's here. Most of our classes are together, as we're both focusing on business, so we can take on our family's companies. And yet, sometimes it feels like it's hard to get a proper answer out of him when I inquire about his plans for the future. Chin up. You'll get to shadow a local business soon enough. You're lucky you don't have to do that. I've got plenty of real-world experience. They'll only let me count it toward classwork rather than letting me finish school early, though. Lucy. His voice is small and short, cutting off his own words almost as quickly as they left him. What is it? Nothing. I reach over and pinch his ear. Ow! It's not nothing if it came to you, so spit it out. It was just a stupid thought, but I was wondering if this is what you really want to do. Not a stupid thought. It's a difficult but very, important question. Again, his words drift off longer he talks. It is. I've had to live off the others' generosity for too long. People who think they owe it to my parents to keep me safe. I want to forge my own path going forward. I want to prove I can be on my own. Then, what does that say about me? Huh? I'm sure you'll find a good business partner before long, Lucy. After a moment, it's clear he intends to leave the conversation at that. Cecil's family is from newer money, having made their living from mining operations for precious stones. Or gems. Then can't we get our pills from, his family? I guess they need someone to make it, right? While his ancestors may have sweated it out in the mines, the current generations live by signing deals with property owners, negotiating labor work, refining the gems, and more. The idea of an opportunity has not been lost on me. Every time I bring it up or even mention it, however, he lets the conversation drop. At least it's a nice night out here, isn't it? I match his gaze. Far beyond the rooftops, stars dot the sky above us. They shine back at us vibrantly, almost twinkling. I don't want to be so dependent on others anymore. I just want to build something myself. For all the prestige and respect they hold, the towering spires of Pryduck's University do nothing to keep the sun from my eyes. The morning glare is so consistent and forceful that most students go out of their way to take the long way around to the east entrance to avoid it. You would think the sun would be more considerate and less intrusive, given the number of vampires working and learning on campus. Okay, so it's a school for vampires? Or is this kind of like the school in Vampire Nights, where like the morning, the day students are regular people and the night students are vampires? Is it kind of sort of like that, or are they like mixed? How does this work? As for Cecil and myself, we often avoid the problem entirely by winding through the gardens and taking shortcuts that only make sense when you're sitting out from the headmaster's apartment. Why don't we just like bring like a parasol or something? This is the Victorian era, so it wouldn't be like unusual. Besides, they can be cute. How infuriating. I should be drafting contracts and celebrating now. A rough sigh escapes me. More a sign of exhaustion than anything I'm expecting out of the day ahead. My classes will provide a moment's distraction at the very least. I need to keep my focus sharp and find another prospect quickly. In the future, once Cecile takes over his family business, we can form a partnership and build a more secure chain of supply. There's no chance of that while his father is in control, unfortunately. So, maybe we can, Is his father a vampire or a human? That's just, just considering maybe we can just, take him out and have Cecil take over. An unfortunate accident on father's behalf. No, that'd be too much. I mean, it is a not the solution, but how dire is the situation? If I recall correctly, Elm's family owns a series of retail establishments. I've no idea what business they're in exactly, but if he has some connections... Ambrose is also meeting with the university board soon, if I'm not mistaken. There are several prominent businessmen among the board, including at least 2 wholesalers and a renowned doctor. I'm guessing those 2 are probably love interests. That's my guess. Perhaps I could convince Ambrose to arrange a meeting with at least one of them. Wait, Lucy! Cecile, what are you doing back there? Well, to start, I saw that stray cat that's been wandering around campus lately. And then by the time I tried to get your attention, you'd gotten far ahead of me. You know that cat won't pay you any mind no matter how many slices of roast chicken you give it. I wasn't trying to bribe it. I just wanted to show you. But you move so fast when you get lost in thoughts. I've not much choice in the matter, thanks to recent events. I'll have it sorted out swiftly enough. You definitely will. You'll have all the merchants in the city begging to partner with you before long. And someday, I'll be saying the same to you. That doesn't come as easily for me as it does for you, Lucy. Maybe we can be his, like, a mentor or something. No, business mentor. He smiles. But I know him too well to leave it at that. He's been so unsure of himself lately, but Cecile is more than capable of keeping pace with me, even if he doubts it himself. He was up rather late last night, though. It's not often I see him so easily distracted, either. I'll have to ask him about it later. Cecile has been my best friend since we were children, and he always rushes to support me, even when it puts him in danger. I only hope he isn't wearing himself ragged trying to keep up with me now. The university gardens are always immaculate. Students and professors alike meander through its hedges, rushing between classes and taking leisurely strolls. It's also haunted, if you believe the rumors spun from the mistaken sightings of marble statues in the dead hours of night. Please tell me the statues aren't that of angels. I'm just thinking like the weeping angels from Doctor Who. Those things are terrifying. Like, absolutely terrifying. "5 years prior, a series of vampire attacks terrified the campus and kept most from venturing out after dark. I suppose classroom rumor are a sign of Predix's recovery from that incident." I don't know if this is... I don't know how realistic this is, but what if one of the love interests was actually behind that attack? And like he lost sight of his vampire self or something, and ended up attacking people. So he was behind the attack? I feel like that might be what happened. Just a theory. An Otome game theory. Instead of a ghost, however, I see a tall, pale face beneath the lilac blossoms. Good. I need to catch him before class begins. Are you admiring the flowers, or have you been waiting for us? Oh, Lucy. He's cute. I shared a class with Elm for half a year now, and he's saved both Cecil and I countless headaches in that time. For all the expertise and wisdom kept in these hallowed halls, most of our professors are dead set on explaining things in the most abstruse and unreasonable ways imaginable. Sounds like my dad. Yeah. I am not, like, the most academically, excellent person out there. My dad, like, when it came to math homework back when I was in, like, high school, Look, I'm not a genius. I don't... If you're gonna relate this one thing to another thing that I have no idea what it is about, and then explain, like, the history behind it or something, and go on, like, a... It's like... It just... Does not compute. Like, yeah. I get it. Mom? I need help. I feel that. Elm has a keen talent for translating all of their theoretical jargon into a language anyone can grasp. I need an Elm in my life. Everyone needs an Elm in their life. His family has several holdings in retail business outlets. Though now that I think more on it, I don't know much more about what they do or where their money comes from. Why do I feel like they're into some, like, illegal stuff? It's easy to forget details like that when we talk. He always listens intently, and he's consistently surprising even our professors with his insights. Not that you know from the detached air about him. No matter what the situation, Elm can always set someone at ease. Most often, I think, by taking much of their unease onto himself. Do you have a moment before the professor arrives? I'd like to speak with you about... I'm sorry. His voice is so brittle. It's usually hard to read any of his expressions, but right now he's clearly preoccupied. Not today. What? I'm not in a sound state today. Do you feel unwell? You look the part, no doubt. He shakes his head. Lucy, there's something I... I'll tell you later. Wait just a minute now. Before I can ask him what's on his mind, he ducks into the classroom and makes his way to a desk. Don't just start saying things and then not finish them. Sir, get back here right now. I have questions now, and I'm not going to be able to focus on class. Lucy, what was Elm saying? He seemed out of sorts. I'm not sure. It's almost as if he was in shock. You don't think he's caught a summer cold, do you? I almost hope it's as simple as a passing sickness, but I've never seen that heaviness in Elm's eyes before. Ah, the professor's on her way, Lucy. Let's head inside. Yes. Elm trudges ahead and sits down in the back corner of the classroom, far from his usual seat near Cecile and I. Damn. I may not get another chance to speak with Elm until after class. Asking about his family business can wait. I won't leave one of my friends languishing like that. Okay, so yeah, he's definitely depressed. He's definitely, something definitely happened. Though I'll admit it's often hard to read his expressions. Maybe it would be a bad idea to press him on anything now if he's feeling unwell. My nose wrinkles, and I force myself to follow along with the professor's droning. Finding Elm after class proves more troublesome than anticipated. He excused himself partway through the lecture and never returned. And now I've not an inkling of where I might be. I doubt he's avoiding me in particular, but it does seem as though he's avoiding everyone. In which case, why would he have come to class today at all? I sigh and pace through the campus gardens, borrowing shade from the hedgerows as I consider whether I should keep up the search or let Elm be and turn my focus elsewhere. Perhaps I ought to reach out to another jeweler, though if Douglas calls on me again... well, he's had his chance. Oh, Lucy. Is there another villain in need of reprimand? It's nothing that drastic. I'll have it all sorted out before long, provided that my brother doesn't fuss over me every step of the way. He's showing his concern as best he knows how. You finished your classes for today, haven't you? I happen to have a free moment, and I was planning to take a walk into town. I'd be delighted to have you join me. Ambrose offers me his elbow, enspaced beneath his parasol. A gentle but nonetheless insistent invitation. He's far more considerate than his husband. Honestly, Nemo could at least ask before showing up to herd me like a wandering goat. I take Ambrose's arm and fall into step alongside the headmaster as he walks beneath the university grand archway and toward the center of town. Oh, he's the headmaster? Do we, get perks from that or anything? I was considering that myself. I won't refuse the company, though I can't stay for long. You won't have to worry on my account. I've only a few moments to spare before my next meeting as well. I've been considerably mild of late. It's been considerably mild of late, though I hear there's a storm coming in from the coast. Perhaps I should ask Nemo to fix the window shutters instead of tending to the loose floorboards on the storage hall. Your last meeting went well, I take it? Was it the entire board of trustees, or just the representatives? My Lucy, you're more perceptive than some of the faculty. Ambrose closes his eyes and smiles softly, which I've come to know as a sign of resignation. I know he would rather we wander aimlessly and take this time to distract ourselves from business, but I can't let even a narrow possibility slip away. Yes. The board met earlier than usual. The storm I mentioned will make the roads unfit for travel, and many of them have business outside Laurenburg. I don't doubt that you're curious about the manner of business they each maintain, but I can already assure you that they won't be receptive to your ideas. At least not yet. And how could you know that for certain? I may not have graduated yet, but if any of them have any good sense... It isn't a matter of good sense, Lucy. Ambrose sighs as we turn into the busy town square, the sun-battered awnings and ivy-colored eaves keeping us in the cool shade. If I thought any of them might be viable business partners, or even simple investors, I would have introduced you already. In truth, most of them are keenly interested in the prospect of a cure for vampirism, and their interest hasn't waned over the years. Okay, so vampires aren't like... It isn't a secret. Okay. Or is it only because, like, they're on the board that they know about vampires? And that's exactly why I'd like to speak with them. They're each from well-established and influential families with ties to the industry across the region, are they not? Lucy, they are interested. But they're even more cautious of anyone proffering a miracle treatment. It's too soon. I promise you I'll arrange a meeting with the head of the Tradesman Guild once you have more momentum. But rushing now would only make them skeptical of your ideas. Do you really think I can convince them? I'm living proof, after all. What room could they have for doubts when I'm testing the cure on myself? Ambrose pauses in the center of the street, and the crowd parts around us, as if we're standing on a small boulder in the middle of a rushing stream. One of our trustees is also the head of a trades guild. Years ago, his only son took ill while accompanying him on a business trip. The child had a weak constitution already, and his father feared that this new wasting cough and fever might kill him. In his desperation, he listened to doctors, healers, apothecaries, and even a few spiritualists who claimed to have divined a prescription through automatic writing. His son's condition worsened, always seeming to improve only for his fever to soar even higher after each treatment. Desperation drives us to take great risks. Eventually, he agreed to let a surgeon perform an experimental procedure on his son, and the results were not good. His son survived, and eventually doctors discovered a tincture that could help treat his condition. But that surgery left him without the use of his right hand. To this day, the boy's father blames himself for his son's injury. Whether you're considering an unknown disease, an inconvenient blemish, or even something largely beneficial like vampirism, People like him are too cautious of any potential miracle cure to throw support behind anything unproven. I wouldn't. That's hardly the same. I have proof, and you and others can vouch for its authenticity. The truth won't be enough if they don't have the heart to trust it. That gentle smile on his face is so infuriating. Unlike my brother, Ambrose is always forthcoming and carefully crafts his arguments. He's always respected my ambition and my talents, which is why I hate it when he's right about things like this. The old merchants and business owners aren't often swayed by proof alone, Lucy. They want to see the flow of people and markers before they act. It's not enough that medicine works. They also want to make sure people will trust it, doctors will prescribe it, and suppliers can procure it. I wonder if it'll be worthwhile to stop taking the pills, just long enough to use my blood arts again. All I need to do is prove that I'm a vampire, and then... No. I need something more reliable than that. I can feel my grip tighten around Ambrose's arm, but he says nothing. Relaxing again, I take a step forward, and he matches my pace. Someday, I'm certain it will be as simple for a vampire to become a human as it is to alter the physical changes of adolescence. The trustees are all people of great influence, and I promise that in time, they will believe you. There's no need to rush. You'll make progress faster if you pace yourself. Thank you for your advice and your concern. I'm more than comfortable at this pace, however. I'll have the ground well I need to speak with bigger investors soon enough. Oh, speaking of which, have you not heard anything from Douglas yet? He seems worried. Far more than I expected he would be over hearing about a missed appointment. Unfortunately, I can't afford such sympathies right now. Not a word. But it hardly matters. I won't waste any more ink on unreliable cads like him. What's concerning? I could understand if he didn't contact you yesterday evening, but to ignore you into the afternoon? I bet you anything he's dead. I said that earlier, but I would not be surprised. Probably by a vampire. Okay, so what do you think? Do you think Mr. Douglas is dead, or he just stood us up? Perhaps he's taken ill. We aren't far from his office if you'd like to stop in. A waste of time, I expect. Thank you, though. Actually, that might not be a bad idea. I'd do it. I am grateful, in spite of the circumstances. Ambrose could hardly bear any blame for the jeweler's negligence, though I'm sure he feels some responsibility since he's the one who vouched for Douglas as a trustworthy prospect. I'll consider it, once I've taken care of other business. I'm sure it's a simple misunderstanding. A bell chimes above to mark the quarter hour. Ambrose waits patiently, as the sound fades into the din of the town square, then gestures back toward the university. It seems I'm out of time, unfortunately. I've got another appointment soon, so I'll be heading back. Are you returning to campus as well? No, I think not. I'll see you tonight at dinner, Ambrose. Of course. It should be a crown of lamb, provided I'm not held up by the faculty. Goodbye for now. Ma'am. Ambrose turns, and I let the shadow of his parasol slip away, leaving me in the sun. The afternoon crowds have filled the town square with laborers and tradesfolk, winding through the bakeries and market stands on their lunch break. Hello, I'm Boxcat. Thank you for watching the, Let's Play you just saw. This was actually, what you just saw was actually recorded, like, in July or something. So, oops. Yeah, I thought I posted it, but it ends up I didn't, and honestly, I didn't even have a good outro. Actually, I didn't have one at all. Which is why I'm doing this. But yes, anyway, thank you for watching. I hope to see you again in one of the other videos. And, check out my socials, which I'll have on the screen soon. And what else? I don't know. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope to see you again, and goodbye.